Imagine a charity coin promising to save children's lives, backed by famous influencers, only to vanish in weeks, leaving millions lost and reputations destroyed. This is the story of Save the Kids. But before we dive in, give us a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more deep dives into stories just like this. When cryptocurrency fever swept the internet in 2021, it felt unstoppable. New coins launched every week, each one promising wealth, freedom, or some kind of social good. The hype was fueled by YouTubers, streamers, and celebrities who already held the trust and attention of millions. It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about movements. That's where Save the Kids entered the scene. On paper, it looked different from the endless flood of meme tokens. Instead of being just another gamble, this coin claimed to funnel a portion of every transaction to children's charities. A project that could both make investors rich and do good in the world. That was the pitch. The branding was slick, the timing was perfect, and the people behind it knew their audience. Younger fans who idolized online creators, and everyday people who thought, finally, a coin that isn't just greed, it's purpose. But beneath the bright promise was something darker. Behind the polished website, the charity logo, and the hype tweets, cracks were already forming. Save the Kids wasn't a revolution. It was a setup. The names attached, Faze Clan members and YouTube star RiceGum, gave the project instant credibility, but also magnified the damage once it all collapsed. Because here's the thing, when you mix influence, unchecked hype, and money disguised as charity, you don't just get disappointment, you get betrayal. And this betrayal was about to unfold in front of millions. To understand how Save the Kids pulled in so much attention, you have to look at the people selling it. Scams don't spread without trusted messengers, and these messengers had built their careers on trust. Faze Clan wasn't just a gaming team. By 2021, it was a cultural brand, an empire blending esports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Millions of young fans followed Faze members not just for their gameplay, but for their personalities, their luxury lifestyles, their wealth. To their audience, they weren't just gamers. They were role models, older brothers, the definition of success. And then there was RiceGum. Known for his flashy persona and flex-heavy style, he embodied the YouTube era of extravagance. Designer clothes, sports cars, Hollywood mansions. He represented the dream life. If RiceGum said something was worth checking out, millions listened. Together, this influence was explosive. When these creators promoted a coin, it didn't feel like a random ad. It felt personal, like being invited into an insider opportunity. And in the case of Save the Kids, that opportunity was painted as charity, a hook designed to bypass skepticism. Fans weren't just told they could profit. They were told they could help children in need. And that's where the genius and the danger came in. Because who wants to question a project claiming to give back to kids? But while fans saw a movement, insiders saw a payday. And the next stage of the story would show just how far that payday would go. The launch of Save the Kids was carefully staged. The website gleamed with bright graphics. Promotional tweets carried hashtags about hope, giving back, and building a better world. Influencers from Faze Clan, Kay, Jarvis, Nikon, Tico, joined forces with RiceGum to create the impression of a global movement. The pitch was simple but powerful. Every transaction would funnel money to children's charities. Imagine, they said, being able to invest and profit while helping those in need. For fans who looked up to these creators, it sounded too good to miss. Behind the scenes, millions poured in. Ordinary people, many of them young followers with little investment experience, bought in. They weren't just chasing profit. They believed they were part of something meaningful, and with famous names backing the project, it seemed safe. What most investors didn't know was that the token's code had been quietly altered right before launch. A safeguard meant to stop whales from dumping, the so-called anti-whale mechanism, was gutted. Instead of slowing down big sellers, it let insiders cash out almost instantly. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories just like this. Within days, the coin's value collapsed. The hype had done its job, pumping the price to its peak. The charity angle had built trust. But the money? It was flowing fast, and not toward the children it promised to help. Investors who thought they were buying into a long-term, charity-backed project saw their money vanish almost overnight. The token chart looked like a cliff, spiking high at launch, then plunging straight down as insiders and early promoters dumped their holdings. That single code change turned what was marketed as safe into a textbook pump and dump. For fans, the betrayal hit hard. They had trusted the names attached, people they grew up watching. Many weren't seasoned traders. They were kids and teenagers putting in pocket money or savings, convinced they were joining something meaningful. What they got instead was a brutal lesson in how ruthless internet schemes can be. As losses mounted, questions poured in. Where was the charity money? Who changed the code? Why were influencers silent while their fans were left holding worthless tokens? Forums lit up with accusations. Screenshots of wallet transactions tied to promoters began circulating, fueling the outrage. The story spread fast. YouTubers like CoffeeZilla traced transactions step by step, exposing how insiders profited while ordinary investors were left with scraps. The scandal grew too big to ignore. Faze Clan scrambled, firing K, suspending Jarvis, Tico, and Nikan. RiceGum, true to form, stayed quiet, offering excuses but little accountability. But the truth was obvious. Save the Kids was never built to save anyone. It was built to extract. And the fallout wasn't just financial. It was about reputation, trust, and the role influencers play in exploiting their audiences. Overnight, Faze Clan went from esports heroes to the face of betrayal. Faze's leadership moved quickly. Faze K, the most visible face of the promotion, was fired. Jarvis, Tico, and Nikan were suspended. The message was clear. The organization wanted distance, even if it meant sacrificing some of its biggest names. But to many fans, it felt too late. A brand built on closeness with young audiences now looked like it had let greed corrode that trust. RiceGum, meanwhile, stayed quiet. His past with shady sponsorships made his involvement unsurprising, but his lack of accountability fueled more anger. Some influencers offered half-hearted apologies, others claimed ignorance, but silence spoke the loudest. The biggest sting, the charity angle. Very little, if anything, ever reached the children it promised to help. Journalists, investigators, and YouTubers dug deeper, exposing the mechanics of the scheme. What surfaced was more than a one-off scandal. It was a blueprint for how influence can be weaponized against the very people who create it. That's the lasting lesson. Influence isn't trust. Charity branding isn't proof of honesty. And if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. Save the Kids wasn't just about a coin. It was about how trust gets twisted, how hype gets monetized, and how fans get left holding the bag. Reputations were scarred, careers ended, and audiences learned a hard truth. In the influencer economy, the system doesn't reward protection. It rewards exploitation. So, the next time you see a flashy new project promising quick profits or noble causes, pause. Ask the questions that weren't asked in 2021. Look past the promises, the logos, the influencers. Because if Save the Kids taught us anything, it's that even the most heartwarming message can hide the coldest motives. This has been a look at how a coin promising to save children ended up becoming one of the most notorious crypto scandals of all time. If you found this story eye-opening, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest business scandals and internet collapses. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think projects like this deserve a second chance if run by the right people? Or is the damage to trust permanent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's see where this debate goes. Because stories like this aren't over, they're just waiting to happen again.